Ah, yes, okay, okay. Bedouins. So this would be very interesting. Chinese, Persians, and Mayans for Darkly Wise's team here, Free Folk. And then Tommy Biport and Cabron for Taco and Burrito. They have Mongols, Mayans, and Spanish. No Chinese. I don't understand why you wouldn't choose Chinese for this map. But one thing I will say is I'm going to speed it up a little bit so we can see where these guys are located. And also I'm going to turn team colors on for a moment so you can see the red there. They're all kind of converging to similar areas, except for Bipolar here. But Bipolar's here in the red, he's Mayans. Then he has allies, Cabron. He's in the green as Spanish. And then that leaves Tommy as Mongols here. Bedouins is a pretty interesting map. You know, you have to get good team positions, I think, because you know you're going to be collecting the shorefish. They're going to be available to you, but you know if you're scattered all around the map, it's going to be really disappointing. Team colors is very helpful, I will say, as a caster. So at the top, then for the other team, we have Bullet as Persians, and below is Sniper as Mayans, and then the very bottom is Darkly Wise. So they're kind of spread out, but it's all about setting up that economy. And Chinese, because you start with the additional villagers, normally the best choice here. Shorefish going to collect very fast, and he's going to get the vills pumping. But, you know, some of the other civilizations pretty strong as well. Maps like this normally bring us a messy game, and that's what I expect here. It's very open. The most recent Bedouins game I've casted was in the T90 series between... what was it? MBL and Vinch? Yes, MBL and Vinch. And that Bedouins game was absolutely insane, so I can only imagine what the team games would be like. Yeah, it is 30,000, not 3,000. I don't think the overlay is wrong, but currently I'm not looking at it. I guess we can check after this game. But yeah, I'm just kind of speeding up through the guys getting their economies rolling. Actually looks like a nice TC position for Bullet. Of course, the shorefish is what he's going to want to go for. He might even just bypass the boars because the shorefish will collect faster than that, but he might use that later in the game. You know, of course, at some point he's going to need farms. Going out there for that shorefish as well. Now, these guys are communicating. You see the X's everywhere, and I'm actually on Darkly Wise's point of view. I'll toggle over maybe to his ally, and there you go. Look at that. They've already figured out where Bipolar is, and Bipolar could be in a rough position, certainly. As Mayans, you know, I'm not sure what the play would be, but you never want to be found on such an open map. And he's, if you look at his allies on the mini-map, all the red there, he's like smack in the middle, and his opponents are in that corner position. So we'll see when the clicks come up for the next stage. I think the Free Folk team, these names get me. I think the Free Folk team has a better team position. Like, though Darkly Wise is far away from his allies, he's kind of in the corner here. Bipolar's, he's smushed. We'll see what the builds are. I like the choice from Mongols, just because it's kind of nice that you can have the fast shorefish collecting, and then you have the Mongol hunt too. You can't really justify Mongol hunt, or you can't justify hunt in general if you have the shorefish with any other civ. Mongol's hunt is the only thing faster than shorefish collecting. So, also I really like this map. It's very different, and it's kind of growing on me. I think it's really nice to just have a ton of shorefish in the middle as the primary source of food. But we see Cabron and Darkly Wise on the way up. And if you look at their positions, Cabron's on the left-hand side. He's gone up on 19 villagers. That is quite low considering he's in this corner and he's walling off now. I wonder if he's gonna attack. Who knows? Then Darkly Wise is down here, and you know, he's got up on 21 villagers, and I am not surprised he's maybe going to go out for an attack here. I think every player is going to go up and have to do something in the feudal age. You just cannot afford to fast castle. And Bipolar's probably going to be the one to receive any type of aggression because he's so far away from his allies. He has gold being collected here, stone here, and he's gonna really have to be careful here. He could be easily 2v1 by Bullet and Sniper. Just a quick glance. I don't see any stone coming in for Bullet. Going for the gold in the back. It looks like the rest are just deep scouting. Meanwhile, stone now being collected from Sniper could indicate that he wants to get the castle up later as mines, but also it could mean he's going to Trush, and I think a Trush is a really wise move because, you know, wood lines are really poor on this map. So going with towers and that type of aggression is really nice. I wonder... Wow, what a castle time there. You know, one thing I always do forget on Bedouins, I was going to say, I wonder if Cabron's going to be able to FC this. And he is going to be able to FC this. I'm so used to metagame, and I just be like, 21, 22 vills. They're going for feudal pressure. But because the food income is so good with the shorefish, you might just see a lot of FCs here. I remember saying that as well in the T90 series. Got that confused. I will pay attention to the castle age times and what these guys choose to do. I'll keep an eye on any aggression. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard for Bullet to come in here and just put up a tower. He's choosing not to do that. And currently, I'm not seeing anybody going aggressive. Certainly, Sniper. He's going up on 25 vills. He's going to have a ridiculous economy. Might have actually gone up way too late, considering that the food income's so good. And hopefully that won't hurt him. Bullet is gonna wall his villagers in on this mill, but at the same time he's going to wall in that one vill from Sniper. So that's good team play there. No aggression. Everybody's just gonna go to the castle age, and if that's the case, what can we expect? Well, certainly Mines is going for a castle. That's a fact. But you could also expect Spanish conquistadors. With the Mongols, the Persians, and the Chinese, I expect knights and camels. But you never know. It's really funny. Like, if you pay attention to this now, they're Xing and they're walling off their mills, and it's really funny how, you know, a scout can go around and find such a thing. I really appreciate this map. But Sniper's not going to go market blacksmith. He has more than enough food. He does not have a food problem whatsoever. And a decent amount of walling at the bottom here from Tommy and Cabron. Which I kind of understand, because this map's so open, you want to try and wall it off if you can. But I find it interesting, specifically that Cabron did it so early. If you recall, he did that very early. And he's just not getting double bid X. I thought he'd be up a little bit earlier based off his resources. But, oh gosh, he has a market. He has to be slinging. He has to be slinging. Like, question is he slinging the Mayans players? He's slinging Bipolar? Maybe he is. That'd be quite interesting, because Bipolar is kind of in the middle here. And we'll have to pay attention and see where Cabron sends his resources. But there's no way he goes from 800 food to 200 without sending resources. Scout's actually the choice from Darkly Wise. I didn't expect that. He's actually gotten in, and he is, well, gonna pick off one villager you would expect, and maybe just gonna get lucky with another one. Nah, he's not going to. But surely Cabron is slinging. He doesn't have a barracks. He doesn't have a stable. He's stonewalling. He has to be slinging. Take a look at Bipolar's resources, right? Yeah, he definitely received some sling, because he has a ton of stone. And back to my original point, Bipolar's the one receiving the pressure. He's in the middle. Why would you want to sling someone who's in the middle? Probably a little bit PO'd at Bipolar for placing his town center here. Now, Sniper, on the other hand, I'm making sure he's not receiving sling now. Now, does not look like he's receiving sling. He could walk in and build a castle right here if he had the support from the scouts. I think that'd be doable. And have to see what happens here. Certainly the sling's coming in, but I don't have the overlay, so I can't see what it's like. It could be that Cabron spent resources and now he's going to click up, because maybe they're going to go for the fast imp, the 1TC imp from Bipolar, but he's really smushed in this small area. Gonna need to go for that castle. Cabron is not sending any more resources. I feel like you need to commit to the sling if you're gonna do it. That hasn't happened. I mean, normally if you're slinging full throttle, you're gonna see the resources sent like every 5 seconds, and pretty annoying as you spectate it because you just hear the ding dong or whatever. That's probably a bad imitation of it. But there's a castle. Gonna cover the gold, which I think is the only thing he's really gonna need. And this is for sure going to be him getting the castle up, clicking up, and putting on the pressure with plumed archers. Now where's the oh, there's more slaying. There you go. Here's the castle from Sniper. And good position, but you know, this is going to be really strong. Once this castle goes up, he can go with a lot of different options. Here we go. Bullets coming across now. He might be able just to give a couple taps on these villagers, but the castle still will go up. And I still don't think it's at the point where they realize the sling is happening. Like, Tommy's going to hit the castle age late. But, oh, he's actually losing a couple villagers here to the scouts. He's going to hit the castle age late. But they're probably not realizing what's happening here. Look at the resources of Bipolar, though. It's really disgusting how he has that many resources, and his opponent down here is actually losing a lot of vills to the knights as Cabron chooses to wall up. But what's the play here from Bipolar? He's not making any plumes. Currently, he has no upgrades for range in his castle. He needs to click up. He's done that. It's the blacksmith getting fletching now, and he's going to be... I assumed he was going to go plumes, but he doesn't have enough plumes to even deal with the knights, so maybe he's going to go trebs, but if he doesn't have plumes, he can't go trebs. That's kind of a bad situation for him. But he's on his way up to Imp, but what's he going to be able to do in the Imperial Age? It looks like Tommy's not having an easy time here, as knights and scouts from Darkly Wise still just being annoying. Plumed archers now from Sniper, and this is the issue. Why do you sling the guy smack in the middle of the map? Why is he not making any plumes? He could be going eagles. It looks like he's potentially going eagles now. But, I mean, he doesn't have the production of it. He doesn't have the wood income right now to make another barracks, and he is definitely going eagles as he's getting scale mail, but meanwhile, Sniper, he doesn't need the sling, and he's going to run down here. His economy's rolling, and he's just going to sit behind the wood lines. And this is not good for Tommy. This is not good whatsoever. He is just going to be in an awful spot. He's going to have to idle a lot of his economy. He probably built the castle for protection, and it's not really uncommon, but I don't know how this is going to work. He built the castle for protection also, so he doesn't have to build the other buildings as well. But how many barracks does he have? One. This is just not good. He should be building another one now. He's lost a villager or two there. Meanwhile, look at this. Tommy is just... oh, man. Disappointing. Disappointing that if you're going to pull off this strat, it has to at least half work. But I don't think it's going to work. I could be wrong. Of course, Bullets Knights can do a fantastic job versus Eagles before the spam really begins. Bipolar's going to be able to make a lot of eagles, so we'll see if there's any team walling. It doesn't look like there is any team walling right now. But Tommy has 11 idols and 31 bills. I mean, not great. They've committed to this eagle push now. We're going to see elite eagles come in. I wonder if we'll see... well, we're certainly going to see conscription first. But I was going to say, I wonder if we're going to see El Dorado. He's actually gone for El Dorado, which is really insane. Gibran is sending him a lot of resources. And this map is quite open, so the Free Folk team's going to have to pay attention to their economy. And Tommy is somehow surviving here. He's just trying to keep his... trying to stay on all the resources with town centers. But certainly now Darkly Wise, Bullet, Sniper are talking to one another, and they're saying, okay, we're going to probably have a Treb come out of the castle. We're going to have eagles on our face, and we need to make more knights, and there come more upgrades from Bullet. So he's up against El Dorado Eagles, though, and that's kind of difficult. But he has to know what's happening, and he needs to just keep producing knights, and that's kind of the situation you're in when you're up against Eagles after a sling. Looks like Tommy's going to try and break out to this area. I don't know if Sniper's going to see those vills running down, but might be tempted to run down there. Darkly Wise, he's also going with some knights, but he doesn't have any upgrades right now. I'm just still trying to pay attention to the middle here because this is the important area. Bipolar is... he needs to sling at this point. Like, he can't do this all on his own with the economy he has. He's way behind, 37 bills. So he really needs Cabron to continue to send him resources. But I'm noticing that there's not much food coming from Cabron. Like, he really needs the food. Very interesting. It looks like this will be an interesting engagement considering the upgrades on the Eagles, like 100 HP. And also, Snipers just deleted this and let the Eagles in, and that could be really bad. Bullet is now coming over, but a couple of bills have gone down. And Sniper trying to keep those Eagles from escaping. Don't think that's working. Knight's now coming around from Darkly Wise, and that's a ballsy attack right underneath the castle and the town center. But there's only fletching, and he's killing a lot of villagers that Bipolar cannot afford to lose. And as you can see, the Eagles are going down to these Knights, but now the Knights certainly need to keep pumping out because these Eagles are going to be a big pain in the neck, and the chest, and the face, as Ice Cream said. But yeah, so far I have to say that Bullet has weathered the storm. But it's not going to be easy to continue to do that because the Eagles are just going to keep pumping out. Of course, Bipolar, he's on 2 TC, so he's trying to get his economy rolling as well. And it looks like now Bipolar's going to run underneath this TC, but Bullet is paying attention. But villas are going down. Like, that's all you really want to do is just focus down the villagers and just, you know, kill 20, 30 villagers and you're in a good position to keep rolling along. But I'm just looking at the villager numbers. Now, it looks like Bullet and Darkly Wise are actually doing quite well. Darkly Wise is pretty much untouched, and he's still committing to more Knights. Going with Bloodlines now. The Eagles aren't doing a tremendous amount of damage, but they are being annoying. You know, Bullet is jumping into his town center anytime the Eagles come by. Did you just see that one Eagle do the sideways Michael Jackson moonwalk? That was interesting. But the Eagles are continuing to come out from Bipolar, and he's going to find interesting areas to attack. He's going to find crucial areas to attack. It's kind of hard for me to call at this point, because the Eagles have to get a good raid. They have to attack a specific area that's exposed. Speaking of exposed, those villas are going to go down to the plumed archers, and credit to Sniper for continuing to attack. The Eagles going down to these Knights now. The Knights are really strong versus the Eagles, but the Eagles are still running in and just being a pain in the butt. I'm going to pick off as many villas as possible, but I think Bullet's doing a great job. Like, he's basically the only one being attacked right now. He's at 65 vills still, and he just needs to stall while Darkly Wise specifically, I think, booms up. Sniper, of course, can do that as well. He's at 79 villagers, and I can't say the sling has really worked out at this point. Like, you would want to do a lot more damage at this point. Also, maybe send out something. Well, I was going to say Treb, but that'd be stupid with the amount of Knights out, so just forget that thought. Credit to Sniper back here now, and he is going to push Cabron off of that gold. I wonder if Cabron has any gold. Yes, he's going to run out of that one, though. And he's sending all of his gold. Keep that in mind. More villagers are going to go down here. This crucial raiding. Like, Eagles are still running around, so everyone's going to have to be on their toes. Bullet is now above 70 vills, so though he's lost a lot of villagers, he's been able to continue to create them. And I think once the Imperial Age upgrade comes in for Free Folk, they're going to be in a good position. Obviously, Elite Plumed Archers just fantastic versus Eagles, if you can mass like maybe 50, 60 of them. That's certainly doable. Oh man, a lot of vills going to go down there though. But is it worth it? Is it worth it? 84 vills for Sniper before this attack came in. He's still hovering around that. He's continuing to produce units. I just don't know if it's really doing all that much in the grand scheme of things, because the villagers are just being reproduced. And it's essentially a 3v1 on Bipolar right now, who's also losing some villagers on his gold. And yeah, I don't see him doing that much. Tommy, he's at 80 villagers, but he's Mongols. So he's going to have to go with Mangadai. He's going to have to do something interesting. He actually has a couple Mangadai out here, but Mangadai are only good with full upgrades, and he really hasn't had the time to boom his economy. Just looking at the military numbers right now, by Port's at 20, and ideally you have a lot more, especially considering that Bullet has 23 knights, Darkly Wise has 24 knights. I mean, at this point it seems as though he's sending the Eagles to their deaths, and he's unable to really push. Darkly Wise has been relatively untouched this entire game. So he's at 105 vills, and now Bullet's on the way up to Imp, which is exactly what the Taco and Burrito, you couldn't see it. Taco and Burrito team does not, they do not want this here, because Cavalier's going to come in, Paladin's going to come in from Bullet, and it might just be one of those situations where they see it, and they're like, oh, nothing we can do against that. Yeah, with the teams named in such unorthodox ways, I often forget. I was like, what? Taco and what? I looked over as like, oh, Taco and Burrito. And Bullet's doing a good job, and I want to take a look at what Sniper's doing currently. He's still kind of struggling. But yeah, like Flu says in the chat, the defense has been really good against these Eagles. Tommy's now at 98 vills, so he might just get to do something with his Mongol power, but Sniper's still running around being a pain. These plumes. How many TCs is he on here? Yep. Sniper's getting close to clicking up himself. We're gonna see the Knights come in this side, and there's the Imperial Age upgrade, and now Taco and Burrito, they gotta be like, oh, frick, this sucks. We're gonna have Cavalier on us now. And that's exactly what we did not want. Knights down here from Bullet, I think he's just trying to help out a little bit. He really doesn't need to have them here currently. He's just, you know, probably doing the right thing and having them around in case Eagles were to raid Darkly Wise, who's been pretty much untouched. Look at this. Sniper's actually been sending a little bit of resources to Bullet, which makes sense. I was kind of curious as to if that was happening. I really need to use Overlay for future team games. But anyway, that's probably why Bullet's been able to create so many Knights. The Cavalier upgrade's going to come in, and we're going to immediately see some siege as well from Bullet. The sling just did not work out whatsoever. Also, a decent amount of walling keeping Blue safe while he still continues to now send resources to Bullet. And a Cavalier upgrade's going to come in as these units attack. And might need to think about going back after they kill these villagers, but still certainly just solidifying their advantage in my opinion. If you look at the Vil counts of Taco and Burrito, I mean, they're not really doing all that well. Tommy's the only one who can maybe pull this back, but he's going to be up against Darkly Wise. And it actually looks like it just missed a TC go down here, and Tommy's gone back. A little bit of a skirmish around this castle, and Darkly Wise is going to be going with Yukonu's for sure. But let's now research Paladin. I'm sure if I didn't see the resources being sent, I would have figured it out once Paladin came in, because that's a really expensive upgrade. But there's a lot of Eagles here, and this is the first time we've seen a lot of Eagles at Bullet's base. It depends on how he stacks this, but I feel like he's going to get surrounded. I don't know if he should take the fight, but oh man, just so tanky, these Cavalier. He actually has the defense upgrade and +2 attack, so that makes sense how he can take a good initial fight. With the pikeman now coming in, I feel like it could be kind of difficult for him, but still, Bipolar's not exactly pushing in. He's not having a great victory here. Bullet just really needed to hold there, and that's exactly what he did. We're going to see Cavalier, I assume, come in from Darkly Wise. I believe, you're going to have to correct me, guys, if you've been here the entire time. I think Game 1, Darkly Wise did the same thing as Turks. But there are a lot of Eagles now from Bipolar, and it took a long time. That's the issue. Like, ideally, he would have these numbers when his opponent's still in the Castle Age, but that's not the case. Look at that. That is so clutch. Actually, those villagers might be exposed. But that is so clutch to save like 20 villagers. Needs to mass up the Paladins. They will be Paladins shortly. But I love the fact that he's done this. Just boom, 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 boom. Keeping these guys alive. So, we're going to see Cavalier from Darkly Wise. It looks like Mangadai from Tommy. They're going to be upgraded for sure. Tommy's actually looking quite good. 107 vills. We'll see if he can get Elite Mangadai. And he can run around and kill villagers, that's for sure. Eagles really just being a pain around here now. Bullet's not having an easy time right now. Of course, we're probably going to see continued push of Eagles, and there they are. He's going to need a little bit of help, and, you know, Eagles now below Sniper. Sniper's committed to sending resources himself. This is actually quite interesting now. I think that Bullet's having a harder time than we expected at the top. What is clutch? Clutch means you do something at the right time. Like it's a perfect move that happens at the perfect time when you're under pressure. That's what it means. Probably it's one of the first times you've heard me casting. I say clutch all the time when I cast games. But there's the push, and oh man, I'm gonna say I thought that Treb was gonna go down. Cavalier's gonna come in, play Barding, gonna be pretty strong. Cavalier here, of course. Chinese get fully upgraded Cavalier. That's not really an issue, but the issue is they can't extend past that to Paladin. Good rating now. Bullet's now down to 83 villagers. Bipolar's at 72. Bipolar's done a good job with his Eagles, I will say that. And he's actually running Eagles down to this side, and that is a clutch move just to pick off these Trebs. I only said clutch because he didn't know what clutch was, so that's an example of what what situation it applies to. 3 Trebs taken out now. Mangadai gonna come in. Problem for Tommy is he doesn't have the resources to get Elite Mangadai right now. But that was a good push back, that's for sure. I mean, Darkly Wise is probably the strongest in my opinion. He's able to push in. Meanwhile, I mean, Bullet has Paladin, but he's just trying to run around and kill the Eagles. Elite Mangadai is now coming in for Tommy. This is quite interesting. There's a lot of Cavaliers still here from Darkly Wise. Mangadai is masked. All the upgrades coming in, actually. We have Chemistry, Thumb Ring, Elite Mangadai. Do they have? No Parthian Tactics just yet. But once Parthian Tactics come in, that's every upgrade on the Mangadai. But still, he needs a lot more Mangadai here to push with some Siege. And oh, he has some down here. And he's going to just try and raid this economy a little bit. This is not looking as good as it was a moment ago for Free Folk. But all the Paladins are down here now. I didn't actually notice that. They've killed a couple villagers, but that's been said a lot this game. A lot of villagers have died. But he could just be cleaned up, especially if more Mangadais come over from Tommy to help out. Ooh, this is really nice for Bullet, just to be able to kill these villagers running away. He's probably going to kill like 10, 12 villagers there, and the Paladin's now running away from the underneath that TC. It looks like he's cleaned up most of the Eagles in his base. I expect Bipolar to send them all this way anyway, just to help out. Because look at this, I mean, Bullet's here, he can kill all these villagers if he wins this fight as well. Really nice fight for him. And now it looks like Darkly Wise is pushing, and like I said, you need a lot of Elite Mangadais. And it really doesn't look like he has the numbers, but if he's able to get like maybe 20, 30 more, he's pretty much going to be untouched on this side if he takes out these castles. Obviously, Cavalier just not going to match up to that amount of Elite Mangadai, but he needs to get to that number. I love what Bullet's doing. He's sending 3 Paladins away, and he's luring 10 of Red's units. Meanwhile, I think he's mounting a push here as well, and he's the Paladins here with capped rams, and that's going to be GG to the economy of Bipolar. I mean, he's going to have to run away these villagers, that TC, and also his barracks are going to go down, which he really cannot afford to reproduce. He doesn't have the economy for it. Really good push here from Bullet. Hopefully for him, he can actually get this castle down, but I think with, yeah, 2 capped rams, he's going to do that, and that might just be the finishing blow. Darkly Wise is, his job right now is just to hold this side. Elite Skirmishers, great move, I think. A Cavalier to, pick off any siege, but he needs to be careful. I think certainly the victory has been won on this side. Bullet's just doing a tremendous amount of damage. He's even underneath this town center. And though halbs are coming out from Bipolar, I don't think it's really enough. He needs a lot of halbs, and the Eagles have just been outmatched by the Paladins. But still, it looks like they're going to rely on Tommy. I mean, Bipolar, of course, is receiving slings, so maybe he can have some buildings back here. But Tommy is the key. Now, if Tommy were to start pushing into Darkly Wise's base, this would be a completely different game. Each side would be having success and failure. Those skirmishers, I mean, Elite Mangadai can shred skirmishers, but a lot of Elite Mangadai could go down here. And I shouldn't say they can shred skirmishers, but they can shred trash because of their firing rate. But that's just wonderfully played from Dark Blue Wise. He's pushed out here with the Cavalier to pick off the Rams. He had the Cavalier in front of the skirms. He might be tempted to go for that Treb, but he has so many skirms here. He doesn't actually have the list. Oh, he's getting it now as I say that. But I was going to say, he has so many skirms here, he can definitely hold. As the Paladins continue to push in. And there's the GG from Tommy now, and he's like, man, I cannot push in here. And you've lost that side. There's nothing I can do. I want to just take a moment to credit. I just want to credit the Free Folk team for dealing with that. That could have been a lot worse, for sure. And, you know, Sniper, someone on the team was like, hey, we need to sling the Persians player. And that's exactly what they did. Sniper did a good job with that. Also, he's actually at 193 fills right now, which I didn't touch on. He's just been full sling. But, you know, apart from the sling, he's also raiding with his Bloomed Archers, and he did a good job. I'll take a quick look at the achievements here. Bullet just well in the lead with kills. I don't know about this slinging that exposed player. Like, maybe they thought, hey, you're exposed, so we'll sling. But I'm guessing that was probably the tactic going into it.